what's hot on what day and what isn't just from my traffic to my websites.
Well, it seems like, the old saying, if you're the straw that stirs the drink, then you're going to have a lot of flack come your way.
Yeah, I just roll it off. I just roll it off my shoulders, and I just stay busy with my research and writing.
Right.
I wanted to spend tonight just, exposing the Edomites and the false Jews, and I'll get to that maybe next week. But they're always on my back on the Internet. And, they've been behind it twice with me losing PayPal accounts. And I know when I'm going to do a radio show or interview, they're calling the host ahead of time trying to get him to can me from his show, from not having the interview. And so there's always a fight in the background with these Edomites.
Right.
And so no wonder I finally get an article put up about them. And you know what? This week, just for spite, I'm going to put up more.
Well, you're not going to make any friends doing that, but
that's just how, they're my biggest motivation, because I know when I'm pressing their buttons how right I must be.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I was a kook, they were just not paying attention to me at all.
That's right.
And so when you're pressing somebody's buttons, I remember back when I started exposing the Sarah agenda, and I was getting flack from that, I put up a whole website just for spite. I put up a whole website on them, OmegaForLiars.com.
Well, I'm glad you did that, because I wasn't fully aware of the Nasara agenda as much as I am now, and I actually visited their website earlier this week. And it was quite telling, what they're pushing on this thing. And then it goes back to the old communism days where they're actually looking for cadres now to work in the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
They call them team leaders to sanitize it, but what we're really talking about here is a good old-fashioned Stalinistic cadres.
Well, what it is in the New Age terminology is it goes from team leaders to spiritual hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Where you'll be introduced to your spiritual hierarchy. It's one of the last things of their plan. And that's your neighborhood team leaders. Spiritual hierarchies. It's enough to make you want to puke. But I just keep, all of them are different. If you go to all these sites, and I have some of them listed on that one article I wrote this week, some of the different sites, I don't suggest people go there, but if they want to go there to see if what I'm saying is true.
Exactly. It verifies what you're saying.
It's all from their sites.
It is.
So I'm just, what I did with, like, my Matrio stuff, my page on Matreon, Sonana and Germanica, all the pictures, I go out to their stuff, get it, put it on my site so people don't have to go out to their sites.
Right.
I'm just putting all the info on mine to save them the hassle.
But what the beauty of Nasara is it's a real piece of work and deception in the sense that you have the whole patriot movement in this country right now is predicated on restoring the original intent of the Constitution.
And they promised that. Got
to get rid of the IRS because it's not lawful to tax people's incomes. And we got to get rid of the Federal Reserve. And that's all going to happen, and people are going to get sucked into this so fast it's going to make your head spin.
Yeah, it's just waving those bananas.
Yeah.
And no more debt. All these debt's cleared up. No more credit card fees.
Right.
They're promising bliss, but they're going to destroy your soul.
Right.
I would love to have one of these hover vehicles, but on my terms, not theirs.
Well, that's the key. It's going to be on their terms.
Yeah, it's going to be on their terms. It's not going to be restoring constitutional law on our own terms, and what we say the Constitution says, it's on their terms. And why do we need them, who couldn't even keep their own planets in one piece? They've all been destroyed.
Right.
Why do we need them to come to ours and tell us that they can restore our problems here when they can't restore their own? They couldn't fix their own problems.
Yep.
But they're going to come to Earth and fix ours.
That's right. They're going to solve all our problems. Yeah, wonderful.
So we're going to have all these well, they have to come up with something because we know the veil is going to be lifted. And that the war of the dragon's going to come after the woman, which is Israel, which is the believers. It's going to be a war of the saints. And so all of these aliens are going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have to explain their presence somehow. And and so this is how they're going to do it. They're saying that they're his angelic hosts. They're the angels because he's God, Jesus, whatever. And so they're the angels, or they're going to be the enforcers of Revelation chapter 13, enforcing that people bow to the image of the Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't bow to it, you're killed. They'll be the ones doing that. They're going to take over FEMA in America. Most people know what FEMA is.
Right.
And it will be taken over by these annex. And the annex are the angelic ones that are 7 to 9 feet tall. And then you have the grotesque little demonic-looking things, like the reptilians and the greys and all that.
Right.
This is going to look like walking into a Star Wars bar.
Exactly.
You've seen the show Star Wars, and they go into the bar, and there's all these different beings sit around drinking.
Right.
That's what this Earth is going to look like.
I don't want to stay on the phone too much longer because there's probably other people trying to call in, but I got to share this with you real quick because I was reading this during the day today, and it's in Isaiah 13, and it's basically talking about the destruction of Babylon, and we're told here that Yahweh is going to raise the Medes, which is today the modern-day Iranians, going all the way up to Russia with the whole Byzantine thing, and they're going to gang up on us, as you talked about so eloquently. And he mentions that what's going to happen to Babylon is that our invaders are not going to have any pity on our people. Men, women, and children are going to be killed, and we know that. And the destruction of Babylon is going to be so complete that it's going to be like Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. But here's where it gets interesting, if it's not bad enough already. And it says here in verse 20, Yahweh says, "It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch a tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts," which in the marginal reference is talking about Zim, Z-I-I-M, "of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures," or Achim, O-C-H-I-M, "and owls, and dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged." And all these different terms that I've been reading here about the wild beasts and the Shittim and the Achim, we're talking about aliens and their hybrids that are going to invade us. And like you said, it's going to be like a Star Wars ballroom.
Yeah, it's all different types of aliens you mentioned, and even the dragons are different factions. It's going to be like a scene from hell as well. It's got all these hellish beings. Owls are creatures from hell. All the night owls are night creatures.
That's it.
And also, demonic beings and alien beings are all referred to as creatures.
Right.
Pick that one up in the codes, because you never know how Hebrews are always using terms. You have to be very careful.
Yep.
You know, and so they use terms differently all the time, but after a while you get to learn it. And creatures is definitely one of the terms, or beasts. That they'll use. Well, beast is usually referring to, the Antichrist, the false phony god, the apostate god. You have to watch these terms in the code so you know which god they're talking about, between the Most High God and the fake one that's coming.
Right.
Creatures is one of the terms, and most people don't realize that locust is another term that's used.
Yes, that's mentioned in Revelation, definitely aliens.
Revelation 9:1-12, the locusts are aliens.
That's a very chilling passage, actually.
Yeah, because the abyss, most people think it's this hot place in hell in the center of the earth. The abyss is space.
Right.
And so once people realize that, they get the terminology straight, and then everything starts to make sense.
Right.
And then everything doesn't sound so far out. Oh, Sherry really is an opera rocker. It's just learning the terminologies.
Right.
Because we're told one thing, and then you get this conditioning block, and that's all you ever think it is. When it's really something else. And so all the terminology is always there in the Bible. You just have to learn what it is, what it actually means.
Right.
Once people start to do that, then everything starts to make sense.
And as the old saying goes, the truth is stranger than fiction, because when you first present this to people, they really reject it. And if you're the one that's presenting it, you're the messenger, you will be persecuted until they begin to understand what's really going on.
Oh, yeah. My Watcher File site was like a fan club for, 2 years when I put it up, and now people go there to learn. Before it was just a site everybody just liked to go and get laughs.
Right.
And now people go there to learn. Because I didn't put it up for laughs. I put it up to teach people. And the first time it got taken down by the Edomite Jews online, that's when I really learned how many people were paying attention to that site. I started getting all these emails, "Where's your site?" And that's how I really learned how many people were actually paying attention to that site.
Wow.
So it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I've always been battling, but lately they've just given up over the past year trying to get the whole site taken down. They pick and nag and other little things. They got the PayPal taken off or whatever, but they can't get the site down itself again.
Well, one thing we know for sure, as long as the truth is being published on your sites, Yahweh is going to keep them up, and there's nothing that they can do to tear them down. Yeah,
I'll notice the site's down for a day, and I don't do a thing, and it's just back up the next day. I just